Hi everyone, Mitch from pickdawgz.com here with the Puck Dogs and Steve Monahan. We're here doing, I don't know if Steve's going to fit. We'll have to, but anyways, we're here doing free picks just like we are every single day at this time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, that's going to change when the time changes. It'll move to 11, so probably about a month away from that, a little more than a month. Today, couple okay football games going on. Championship Sunday, 2 rematches, games that happened earlier this season. Everybody else, all the other professional sports, kind of saying, you know what, we don't want to compete with that. We'll go with the light schedule, and we'll kind of schedule around the NBA. Just 2 games today, but they went big tomorrow for Martin Luther King Day. 14 games in the NBA tomorrow. Guys, how many NHL we're looking at today and tomorrow, Chris?
I think 4 or 5 tomorrow.
That's it?
It's slow now. It's slow now until the All-Star break.
Yeah, tomorrow we have weekday daytime basketball in the NBA. We got 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3, 5, 3 5 o'clocks, 4 5 o'clocks, 5 o'clock, 6 5 o'clock games. Yeah, just about everyone in action for King Day in the NBA. It's nice that they did that. I love weekday daytime sports. I know a few years ago, and then the following day on Tuesday, there's only one NBA game, right? I know a few years ago, the Big East did King Day. It was awesome. They did started at noon. Yeah, the NBA, what a crazy week it is. Then Wednesday, gigantic schedule again. All right, it's going to be a fun week. But yeah, we got those 2 big games and 2 rematches of pretty wild games, because what we saw in the Titans-Chiefs game earlier this season was very typical to what we've seen in the Titans games the last 2 weeks, where they kind of hung around, and then when they had their opportunities, they jumped all over them, and it was like try and keep the game within reason by running Derrick Henry for 3-4 yards, and then when they need it most, he busts a gigantic one, which rarely ever goes for a touchdown, which is weird, right? I mean, this guy has more breakaway runs that don't go for touchdowns than anyone I could possibly remember. It's like, normally it's like they hit the hole, boom, it's gone, right? Running back, it's like, what's the difference between, like, I've seen it on the screen before, like the difference between a 4.4 and a 4.6 40, and it is a gigantic difference. And it's like it starts separating out like 10-yard differences, and that's why these running backs and wide receivers can you see them just pulling away, and it's because they have that kind of speed. But Derrick Henry is a little different breed. He has good speed, but not Darren Sproles speed, and
he's an upright runner, so he doesn't have that that extra gear. He's just big and powerful. Even when he gets into open space, to your point, the guys in the back in the defensive secondary are flyers for the most part, and they'll track him down, or a fast linebacker too.
They run him down. They do run him down, but
that's the worst thing you can say about Derrick Henry. He can still be my starting running back anytime he wants to, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I think that, that and maybe his pass catching skills out of the backfield not as good as some of the other guys. But that game with the Chiefs and the Titans, it was, I remember it like it was yesterday, and because I had the Chiefs in that game, and they were kind of mucking around right around the line to cover. It was about this same number in that game. I think it might have been 7.5 even, or 8, but it was right in the same ballpark. And the Chiefs were up by 6, and it was one of those stupid time management things that they did. They got the ball back, and then instead of trying to really get the first down and get the touchdown, Andy Reid, who I guess, I don't know, he's always one of those, he kind of always does do this, but he kind of usually is one of the guys that gets away with it. He kind of did like where he runs the ball, where, I don't know, if you throw a pass over the middle, it's game over. It's like, so he runs the ball, he ends up they end up going for what's considered, the easy field goal. The holder fumbles the ball. The Titans recover. They march down the field. They score a touchdown. They win this game. They win the game. All right. So, I mean, this is I hate coaches, Tom Allen, right, that play this just, we're smarter than you. We're going to do this, and, we're going to make you burn your timeouts. Like, I don't know. It's like, I think timeouts are highly overrated. I think that the rules are such, even in the NFL, where they've tried to speed up the game beyond recognition. The timeout is pretty much overrated, unless you're on defense, and that's the only place you would need it now. And it's because of that 40-second clock, which they put in, I don't know, what was it, like 10 years ago, to ruin the last 2 minutes of the game. I mean, that's basically what they did when they did that, right? I mean, it should go to a 30-second clock in the last 5 minutes, right? When the clock stops too, it should also go to a 30-second clock. I mean, these are easy fixes. I mean, it's like, this does not take, like, a brain surgeon to figure this out. To get, you'll get better games. It's like, why are ratings down? Well, you get better games, people watch them. But I think this is a pretty interesting matchup with the Chiefs and the Titans, because that first game really it was close all the way. I mean, the Chiefs were never out of the woods in that game, and this is when the Titans were playing poorly.
Yeah, it's true.
This is when they were playing poorly. So, I mean, they were never really able to put them away. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting game again today, and I think that, like anything, and like the way the Titans are playing, they can't afford to turn the ball over. I mean, they really can't, because as much as we've seen Ryan Tannehill take advantage of the turnover and the Titans take advantage of the turnover, I think the Chiefs will really make you pay for the turnover. I think that I think the Titans have a secondary that I think I like their strategy. I think that, the strategy with the little guys, when you have the little guy wide receivers like that, got to hit them. Maybe you take a penalty here and there. Maybe you do it. It's like the old Miami Hurricanes, my team. We never minded a 15-yard rough in the passer early in the first quarter. Set the tone. Let them know that it's like, yeah, you can hold on to the ball for a couple extra seconds, but we're going to plant you, And it's like, you want to look at the receiver downfield? Go ahead. You could throw the ball, we're going to hit you again. It's like we take a 15-yarder, and I think, the Titans are that type of team too. They've taken some of those penalties. And I think against Hardman and Tyreek Hill, I mean, how about Hardman, man? It's like, you think Tyreek Hill's going to be out, so you draft this guy, and all of a sudden now you got both, right? It's like, wow. Steve, initial thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, midweek, I was all KC. But the more I think about it, I think with a 7-point spread, I just think the Titans are on, playing out of their minds for them. But, again, like you said, they played earlier in the season. Titans kept it close. And the big thing that you said was the Titans weren't really playing all too well back then. But things are clicking on defense. Offense, obviously, Henry with 3 consecutive 180 games. So, and if they can keep that formula and keep Mahomes off the field for as long as possible and get sustained drives, and to your point, don't turn it over, I'll take the Titans here. I'll take 7 points, and I think it'll be a close, hard-hitting game. And I'm switching. I'm going to go with the Titans here.
How about these fourth down stuffs that the Titans have come up with in these games, right? It's not just once or twice. I mean, they've stuffed them on fourth down and come back on first down, thrown over the top of a few times on this too. So it's like, not only do they do it, they strike quickly right on top of it. And
it's true, and their red zone defense is good. I mean, if you go back to the New England game when New England had first down on the 1-yard line and they had to kick a field goal, it was plays like that or series like that that's so momentum building. And they really haven't stopped in the last couple games. So You know, they're a good team.
I just think it's kind of hard to say that the Chiefs are so much of a better team, even though they're the home team here, even though they have Patrick Mahomes and all this other things and the record and all those other things. I think it's just hard to say that the Chiefs are a better team when the other team beat the New England Patriots, who, if they make it to the Super Bowl any year, is anybody surprised? And then they beat the Baltimore Ravens, who a lot of people had circled as already had given them the trophy as the Super Bowl champions. Both of those games on the road, too.
Exactly.
And both those games, I would say decisively. You know, I would say it wasn't like, New England missed a field goal as time expired, or like they had, some kind of fluky weird thing. They won both of those games, and especially last week against the Ravens, they handled them. I mean, they just never doubted themselves for a second in that game. And the other one, in the Patriots game, it was kind of like they showed the Patriots every deficiency that the Patriots had and everything that they needed. And I was, Steve and I are going to be doing an NFL free agent show and NFL draft shows coming up starting this week. And I'm already looking at the potential, tight ends, that the Patriots could pick up because, I mean, let's face it, it's like you could probably get by with Philip Dorsett there, but if you had Charles Clay or Austin Hooper in there or Tyler Eifert, these recycles that the Patriots, seem to get, there's just a lot of names there, that they could jump on. I'm not saying they signed a Mercedes Lewis, but how about Darren Fells or Eric Ebron in New England?
Right.
A guy who's been a little bit of an underachiever like an Ebron, and get him with Tom Brady, who says, this is kind of the way we do things here. And, all of a sudden, Ben Watson is no longer the only option. It's like,
Right.
which is a problem. Rod, what do you think of this one? These are two teams that haven't been to the Super Bowl in a little while. Of course, the Titans half yard short. Derek Mason, against the greatest show on turf. The fact that they even got that close in that game surprised a lot of people. I remember they didn't even get the cover. It was like one of those games where it was like that play came down to they're going to win outright or they're not even going to cover. So they didn't even cover in that game. And that was really, one of the Super Bowls that kind of probably flies under the radar, probably one of the lowest rated Super Bowls of all time is my guess, just based on the TV market, St. Louis against Tennessee. But really one of the better actual games in the Super Bowl, kind of up there with that Seattle-New England game, there's been a few really good Super Bowls, but there's been a lot of stinkers out there. Cowboys, Bills. It's like I just remember watching that Cowboys Bills and thinking to myself, like, what are the Bills players thinking in the locker room right now? It's like they're down by 100. Michael Jackson's playing. It's like this is just as bad as it gets. It's like the highlight
was Leon
like Maroon 5, where Adam Levine, for no reason whatsoever, takes off his shirt, in a 4-minute show. It's not like he's, put forth the performance of a lifetime and is, sweating after the first 4 minutes. He just randomly takes off his shirt, and I still don't even understand what happened there. But let's just say, I think the Bills would have been better served. I felt better about that game if that was the halftime instead of, Michael doing black and white with James Safecheck and Corey Feldman. Chris, what are you thinking here? You love favorites. You think the Chiefs are worth it?
No, but I'm gonna go with the Titans here at +7. Personally, I think Steve hit the nail right on the head. The key to Tennessee winning this game is going to be keeping Patrick Mahomes off the field. Mahomes threw for almost 450 yards when they played in the regular season. And then, Kansas City, their strength on defense is defending the pass. They're the second worst rush defense in the league. You're going to tell me that Derrick Henry's not going to carve that defense up on the ground. I don't see it being maybe another 180-yard game, but I see him doing enough to chew up a lot of clock and keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. I think Tennessee can capitalize on that, keep it within 7.
So, as a correction, I said Derek Mason. It was Kevin Dyson who was a half-yard short. I stand corrected.
Correct.
Steve, Ryan Tannehill, has he found a system that works for him? Was it just getting out of Miami? Was it maybe playing with purpose, getting traded for nothing and, being basically cast off? Or is this Neil O'Donnell revisited? Because he is a free agent after this season. The Jets are obviously paying close attention here.
That's right. No, I think the change of scenery for Tannehill has been great for him. Obviously, he was the number one pick, and we've talked about his career down in Miami, and he was the man, but didn't really have the supporting cast. Outside a 10-6 season one year. But he's got no pressure, especially with Derrick Henry taking the load, like we talked about. He's been a game manager. I mean, it's not like Tannehill is throwing 80-yard bombs every game. He's just, he'll throw you 2 touchdown passes, but they're typically, within the red zone or so on and so forth. He really hasn't turned it over, so, like he used to.
We saw a few. We've seen a few.
Right.
We've seen a few against New England. He turned it over.
Perfect, but he's playing with purpose, and he's really, again, Derrick Henry's shouldering the load for him. And if he just doesn't turn it over, makes those, 5, 10, 15-yard passes and keeps the chains going and gets rid of the ball, don't take these, bad sacks, that's the formula.
I think the formula is it comes down to what I say. I've been saying on this show and on my videos for 13 years now, and I've been saying it my whole life. And I know it bores the crap out of most people, but run the football, play defense. It's really that simple. And then after that, blocking, the team that blocks better and tackles better. Derrick Henry, believe me, if he ran behind the Dolphins' offensive line, he would be getting battered with that upright style, man. He would be on the injured reserve. I don't care how tough he is. But, it's like, or on the some of these other teams out there, they're just these sieve offensive line this year. But it's like they've run the ball, played defense, and then quarterback that's for the most part has managed the game. It's
right.
He's Dilfered his way to this point.
That's a good one. That's a good analogy. Is Dilfer in that Super Bowl year for the Ravens?
Yeah, didn't do anything.
Yeah,
it's rare that the quarterbacks. We've seen it, but Peyton Manning did the same thing in Denver.
Yeah.
He couldn't throw for 100 yards a game, at that point in his career. But they ran the football and they played sick defense.
That's right.
All right, so.
Are you one with the Titans? What's your? You in on the Titans, or are you still thinking about it?
Me? I have premium pick on this game, so I got a premium area. So
I got you. I can infer where you're going.
Can't give it out.
I got you. Understood.
But it's like if you watch the shows over the course of the week and catch my overall tone, voice inflection, as people call it.
I know all about your voice inflection.
But you three apparently are all on the Titans here. No,
Rod,
Chiefs.
I was on Saturday when we were initially talking about it. I think you think Henry. If the Chiefs can stop Henry, what are they going to do? Tannehill's going to have to throw. Game over. I think the Chiefs can come up with a plan to stop Henry. I really do. And I think the Chiefs can cover that number. I'm actually going to go with the Chiefs minus 9.5.
What if the Titans come out with some kind of Deion Lewis thing, and start tossing it around like the Chiefs do? What are the Chiefs going to do then?
Keep up with.
I think have any answers at all. And that guy's done it in big games like his entire career. In bigger games than that. Well, not bigger games than this. Well, yeah, in bigger games than this. He's done it in bigger games than this. Just saying.
I know.
I think that the Titans are more than just Derrick Henry. I think he's important, but I think that they've shown that they're more than that. But
that's what everybody's saying. They go, you have Derrick Henry run the ball and eat the clock and keep Mahomes off the field. Mahomes can score in 20 seconds.
That really doesn't matter. Defense, Tom Brady couldn't do it, and neither could Lamar Jackson.
Well, Tom Brady had nobody to pass to either.
Lamar Jackson lit up the scoreboard all season. He did nothing against these guys. On a 4th down and 1, he ran backwards. That's how good this defense is. Okay? On 4th and 1, the guy who was the unstoppable, you couldn't even lay a glove on this guy all season. was fourth and this long. It was literally because the ref did this, so I know it was this long because the ref. Maybe it was this, right, or this. It was something like this, right? Now I'm like the monkey with the symbols, right? But it's something like this, and he ran backwards. Is what he did. That was the only place he had to go. There was nowhere to go this way. He could only go this way. And then the next play, touchdown, Titans, Tannehill. I think Patrick Mahomes is a good quarterback. I think the media's a little bit ahead of themselves on this one. I think he's also frail. I think he's going to get hit. And I think the Titans are going to take that 15-yard roughing the passer. I think Vrabel's that type of coach.
That's right.
As much as he tries to come across as the clean,
he's
whatever. I'll tell you, I don't think he's a player's coach at all. I think he's a young coach, but I don't think he's a player's coach. There's like the player's coach, and then there's the guy who's kind of like, he acts like he's a player's coach. Like he'll let them go as far as they'll go, and then he kind of is, Jimmy Johnson, right? It's like where it's like, it's all good, but this is what we're gonna do. Then there's Dennis Erickson, who just kind of shows up from the bar in the morning. It's kind of like, all good, guys. Whatever you guys want. What are we doing? You do one of these,
Yep.
Like,
I'll be in my office if you need me.
pretty much, It's like players love Dennis.
Yeah.
Love Dennis. Now, we have not done anything but football so far. All right, we're just going to quickly go to the NHL. We just got a few games today. I know the Bruins are back in action, Chris, against the Pens. Who do you like here?
I like Pittsburgh minus 125. I think this is a good revenge spot for Pittsburgh. And they've won each of the last 5 against Boston at home. I'm going to say Boston's not the same team on the road as they are at home, so I'll lay the 125 with Pittsburgh here.
Rod?
Give me Boston. How many times have we seen Boston this year at a plus money? One? None? Give me the Bruins here. The Bruins just beat them 4-1. Why can't they come do it again? Pittsburgh's had to play a lot of games since they played them, too. They had to go play Detroit. Give me Boston. I think Boston beat them again.
So when was the last time we saw a team that's 28-15-3 at plus 160? Because that's what we have today with the New York Islanders here on the road at Carolina, which I think is just an odd place for a hockey team. Still.
That's a crazy number, man.
It's a crazy number, but the Islanders just 4-5-1 in their last 10, while Carolina just 5-4-1 though. 21-27 on the puck line this season, and 11-13 on the puck line at home. Islanders 13-8 on the road, 15-8. I mean, it just seems a lot. It seems almost too easy, right?
I'm thinking the Islanders money line. That's where the value is. Give me the Islanders.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm on the Islanders too. Carolina's on a 3-game losing streak. They've lost 11 of the last 13 against teams within the division. I'll take the Islanders at plus 160.
Got the Blackhawks and the Jets. Blackhawks finally getting a little cushion over 500. They're playing their best best hockey of the season, I would say. It's the first time they've been able to really put strength, most consistent. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games. It's the first time they've put some distance between them and 500. They're a mild home favorite at the Madhouse at Madison today. It's interesting timing because the game is up against that Packers 49ers game, and Green Bay is super close to Chicago. It's a stone's throw. I live there, so I know. Probably a cheap ticket, man, if you haven't seen the Hawks this year. I wonder what the get-in price in Chicago is still never cheap. Anyways, what do you guys think of this one? You like the way the Hawks are playing?
Chicago's now 5 points out of a wild card spot in the playoffs. 5 points out. They can make the playoffs. They're right there. But I'm going to go with the Jets today.
I think the NHL wants the Blackhawks in.
They do, and I think the Jets get the win today.
Chris?
They do, because Blackhawks are one of those fan favorites, an original six. Of course, they want them in. They want them, the Rangers. They want NHL loves the original six teams to make the playoffs.
I'll tell you, who loves the Blackhawks is the city of Chicago. Chris, what do you like?
Yeah, I'm not going near the Jets after getting pummeled 7-1 by Tampa Bay last time. Chicago's actually done well on a back-to-back. They've won their last 4 games on no rest, and they just beat the crap out of Toronto last night. They're probably getting their better goalie in net tonight in Leonard, and I think they win at home. So I'll take the Blackhawks minus 116.
This guy's saying everyone is asking how the Chiefs stopped the Titans. No one is asking how the Titans stopped the best player in the NFL. I thought Tom Brady was the greatest of all time, like last week. I'm missing this. Who's the best player in the NFL? I mean, that's pretty. What do you call it? Subjective.
A reach.
I thought Lamar Jackson 2 weeks ago was the best player in the NFL, MVP. Right? Mahomes wasn't even in this discussion, right, for MVP.
Mahomes, what he missed? 3 games with a knee injury.
He's not in the mix. He's not in the
Set the bar so high last year with that season he had. I mean, anything short of that, people.
I think that San Francisco defensive line should be the MVP this year, man.
They are sick.
How about the New York Rangers against the Columbus Blue Jackets? Rod?
The way the Rangers are playing, give me the Rangers at home here. I think the Rangers can beat Columbus.
Yeah, I'm going the other way. Columbus is playing better than the Rangers right now, and I always think that maybe a coach would want to stick it to his old team, and that's what we have with John Tortorella on the bench for the Blue Jackets here. I just think the Blue Jackets are playing better and getting them at plus money some solid value, so I'll take Columbus at plus 105.
So this is a weird one, right? The total is at 6 in this game. So the Rangers over 8 of their last 10 games. The Blue Jackets under 8 of their last 10 games. Does this one land on the number? I mean, I don't know what to say about this. Or whoever can dictate that pace is going to win this game.
I think it stays close to the number.
Yeah, I can see it landing right on the number. I can see a 4-2. I can see a 4-2 game.
I don't think Tom Brady is the greatest player of all time, and I will debate that with anyone all day. I think he's been on some of the best. I think he's had the best coach, and I think when you have a team that's won with Matt Castle, it kind of takes you being the key piece to that team winning out of the equation. Anyways, Rod, any comments on Conor McGregor literally kicking Cerrone's head off last night?
That's what I said at the end of the show. You knew it was going to be a beatdown. I'm glad I didn't pay for that. So I'm always going to pay for that pay-per-view to watch 40 seconds of a...
I've been to a lot of fights, a lot of boxing fights, and eventually we're going to get Rob Peters on here, and he's going to talk boxing. But I would way rather see. I've been to fights that are like first round knockouts and second round knockouts and whatever like that. I would way rather see a first or second round knockout than a 12-round tactical decision any day of the week. And people are like, "You paid $1,000, the fight lasted 40 seconds." It was like the 2 minutes before, the 10 minutes before the fight, and the fight itself were way worth that. I would way rather see that than sit there and watch 2 guys dance around the ring for 12 rounds, like Floyd Mayweather. Like I saw Floyd Mayweather against Canelo. It was like. There's nothing fun about it, Or you put Manny Pacquiao in against a circus elephant, like they tried a couple times, right? What we'll do is we'll just move him up and weight. I mean, the guy's 108 pounds, right? We'll move him up till it, I don't know, is 135? How about 150? It's like, put him in against a guy that plasters his hands, Margarito, right? Just like basically up against this, wheel in a circus elephant and see if Manny can take him down. I mean, he just basically uses the guy as a punching bag for 12 rounds. It's like the guy's face is like, all over the place. And it's like, I'd way
He used
rather
his
see the quick
shoulder.
knockout.
Like I never seen that in UFC where he used his shoulder to mash his face up first. Like they got into a nice clinch, and he went like did one of these and was like, oh, right to his face. Like, really? I never seen him do that. And Cowboy was like stunned. He was kind of like, whoa, what was that? And then he got a leg kick to the face, and it was all over. It was all over. It was like, whoa, I've never seen anybody use their shoulder as a weapon in the UFC. Usually it's fists or kicks or. Wow. Yeah. And he didn't look like he got hurt.
I don't think it was fixed. I think that the matchup was set up to have something that McGregor could win. I think that's the whole idea.
Sure.
It's kind of like in fighting, generally, it's not the fight itself that's fixed, except if it comes to a decision. Then that's where the fix comes in. Generally, the matchups are made. If you ever saw Rocky 3, matchups are made, so that the guy can basically win, and you kind of get into position to have these big money fights. It's kind of like what I said about Timothy Bradley against Manny Pacquiao, where Bradley won the fight on a decision in a fight that Pacquiao clearly won. It was like Bob Arum, Top Rank, who we know is kind of just, I don't know what his deal is, but he basically thinks the public wants stuff that they really don't want, and he's willing to take less money, to have it done his way. He'd rather take less money and have to split it with nobody than take more money that he has to split with someone, even if he's going to end up with more money at the end of it. So at that point, when Pacquiao fought Bradley, he's like, well, if we lose this one, if we go to a bad decision, well, now I don't have to negotiate with Floyd Mayweather, and go through this whole dance with him. I've got 2 more fights because now we got a rematch and then the rubber match, and he does, this is exactly what he did. And he did the same thing with Morales. Like when Pacquiao knocked Morales out in the second fight, it was like, everyone wants to see Morales 3. And it was like, no one wanted to see Morales 3. It was like, everyone wants to see Morales 3. It's like, nobody wanted to see that fight, No. And it was like, everyone wanted to see Marquez, right? And Marquez, he didn't want to fight him, right? It was like, Marquez was so mad about the first fight, that he didn't want to fight him. And then that fight, I went to the second Marquez Pacquiao with 12 guys that I know, right? All the Boston guys, right? And I brought a friend. This is back when I had a day job, and I brought the guy who was the computer guy to the fight with me. He was like our IT guy. I brought him. He was Mexican. He has not talked to me since that fight, even at all after the fight. Anything. He did not talk to me. He's mad at me because of the fight, because he thinks that Pacquiao got the decision because Marquez is Mexican. And for some reason, that's my fault. I didn't say anything. It's like, I didn't even say, like, he won because this, or Marquez didn't win, or Pacquiao won. I didn't say anything. He's mad at me because I took him to the fight and Marquez lost because he feels he didn't get the decision because he's Mexican. I don't know. I have no idea, man. I know George Lopez was the host of the weigh-in, and I enjoyed it. I thought that was, I mean, everyone knows I don't care, believe me. I'm from Miami. It's like, I don't know, 2 people. I didn't grow up with 2 people from the same country. I think all my friends were. It was pretty much 2 people weren't from the same place. It's like, no idea. But I thought that was odd. I think that a lot of the fights like that, the Pacquiao Marquez fights like that, and this is way off topic, but I think a lot of those fights, what happens is, because it happened at Marquez 3 as well when I got hit in the back of the head with a bottle, because I did make a few comments at that one, but not Mexican comments. They were just comments about the fight. I got hit in the back of the head with a bottle, and it was because I said to the people in my section, which was primarily Marquez fans, that each round in the first 3 or 4 rounds of the fight were kind of like, these rounds are just kind of like feeling each other out, kind of boring rounds. And I said, who won that round? And they said, well, I don't know. And I said, I can tell you right now, on the judges' scorecards, Pacquiao got that round. At the end of this fight, it's going to be paper thin, razor close. And these are going to be the rounds that decide this fight. And that's going to be the end. And sure enough, it happened. I was the only one that got hit with a bottle. It might have been. I think it was like empty. You know, it was like it was one of those plastic ones. Rob Peters got a beer can at that one too. A couple of them. I think that was the one where like the announcers were fighting, like the different radio, like the different radio people were fighting against each other. It was nuts. It was a melee. It was time to go. Anyways, so we've covered the NHL. We got a really crappy college basketball card today. Steve, Skagway University here is hosting Memphis. Who do you like in this one?
The Golden Gophers are coming into Rutgers.
Who do you like this one?
Rutgers is favored by 6, and when you think basketball, you know, Rutgers has really not been good in basketball for a long, long time. However, they're playing pretty well. Last time I looked, I want to say they're like 12-5. And the game is home. Minnesota is, I think, maybe one game over 500, something like that. I'm going to go with Minnesota, though, on the road here. Just think Rutgers is playing very consistent, but I think they fall back to earth, and I'll take Minnesota.
When was the last time? I think he's saying conch. The last time I had conch was probably 4 years ago. No, 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I had conch and plantains, and then the last time before that was probably like another 4 years before that. So yeah, conch and plantains. I love both those. I love both those foods. Conch salad. I like conch fritters. I like all of it. Plantains. I like the plantain chips. I like the big platanos. I like It's funny because like I get into Miami, all of a sudden I'm speaking conversational Spanish. You know, it's like get me outside of Miami, I can't say a word of Spanish. You get me back home, it's like I can order an entire meal for the table off the menu and get directions to the airport. It's like it's crazy. So Fordham taking on Davidson. I said it in my video. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm so done with Davidson. I'm so done with these guys. I am just going to continue to bet against Davidson.
Yep.
I am just done. I've checked out of my relationship with Davidson. Rod, you got anything going on with Davidson? Do you think like maybe today's the day that they decide, you know, Fordham's 6-10 in this one? You think Davidson finally can hit a basket?
What are they favored by? Double digits?
7.5 points on the road.
Oh, okay. I saw 9, but it's 7.5 now.
That's what I saw. I have it at
7.5 now, eh? Ugh. I'm definitely not running to the window to bet this game, but yeah,
Fordham's 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 games.
Yeah, I'm not touching Davidson.
I'm telling you, I'm betting this game on spite alone. I am so done with Davidson. I'm just done. That Alabama game, just forget it. You know, it's like they didn't even show up. They lost by 20. It was a pick 'em. It's like they didn't even. It was like I have not touched them since that game. It's just so done. Chris, Davidson, roll Davidson for you.
Can I play the total instead?
Man, I mean, what the hell's going on there? Yeah, it's 8.5 now. It's up. It's 8.5. So we got 2 interesting games here. We got North Dakota State, South Dakota State. We got a lot of Dakota here. North Dakota State. What do you think's going on here? I mean, obviously, you know it's a rivalry.
Oh yeah.
The Hawks used to be the Fighting Sioux. Now they're the Hawks. They're politically correct. Of course, we all know the Bison.
That's right. I mean, North Dakota State's favored. Last I saw by 8 points. And like you said, it's a rivalry game. But I'll take North Dakota. I'll take the points here.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm on North Dakota as well. In-state rivalry game. The last 2 head-to-head, I think, were decided by a combined 6 points. So I think North Dakota gets up for this game.
Rod?
Yeah, I like North Dakota as well here.
Yeah, North Dakota State. Those green and yellow teams yesterday just really tore it up, man. Baylor and Oregon, both big comebacks and covers. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back to the same colors there with the yellow and green. That's the way my wife would pick them. She usually does pretty well. We got, I can't even say this one because I got a lot of real hate mail on this time. Last time I said it, because someone told me that it's pronounced Canisius. And it's like, so I said it like that, and it was like, oh man, who even knew there was that many Canisius fans out there? Canisius. It's like, it's Canisius. I was like, all right. I started saying it like that. And because it's like, oh man. Golden Griffins take on the Bronx.
Yeah, there you go. Just say Golden Griffins.
That's right.
Give me the Golden Griffins. I like the Golden Griffins here.
I like them too. I like the Golden Griffins too. I don't like the way Ryder played last time.
Yeah.
I'm with the Golden Griffins too.
Chris?
Yeah, sweep it. I'll take Canisius too.
I don't think a lot of people know where Ryder is, but Ryder's right in New Jersey here. So.
How about the other one, the other Dakota? South Dakota State. The Coyotes opened as a 1-point dog. Now they're 2-point favorites. Just 45% of the money here on the Coyotes. Everyone knows I love the Jackrabbits.
Of course. I'm going to go with South Dakota.
Give me the Jackrabbits.
Yeah, I'll take the Jackrabbits too.
I'm on the Jackrabbits also. I think like when you start to see teams that are like 8-2 in their last 10 games, that just means they played a heavy duty out of conference, and we know the Jackrabbits did. They played everybody. They didn't really show up this year in those games. And of course, I was in the Westgate Sportsbook when Mike Dom shook the world. I'm telling you, it felt like the whole planet shook when he hit that shot against Texas, that half quarter in the NCAA tournament. UCLA minus 8.5 against Cal. These are two programs that are in bad shape. Mick Cronin, UCLA started off on fire this season, and then now we're starting to maybe guess that how long would he have lasted. Interesting thing, it's kind of like Steve Alford would have still been there had the whole ball situation been different. When LaMelo Ball was arrested in China for stealing the sunglasses and all that other stuff. Was it LaMelo or LiAngelo that was?
Who cares?
It might have been the middle one. I think it was
LiAngelo.
It was the middle one, right? That was arrested.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Right? It was the middle one.
It was LiAngelo.
And then so Alford couldn't let him in, and at that time LeVar Ball was like, "Fine, you don't take him, you're not going to get the best of the ball." It's like, and then Steve Alford was like, I mean, basically you're fired. It's like, it's kind of like, definitely not good. I like Cal in this one. I can't stand UCLA. Mick Cronin is just such a bad coach. I was the only one that took Louisville yesterday against Duke. You would think in the YouTube comments that I picked Duke to win by 20 because of my Chris Mack comments. I mean, anyways, I like Cal here. I can't stand Mick Cronin. This guy will coach you right out of a game. I mean, He gets the whiteboard. The other team's like, got him. It's like, he's drawing it up. It's like on the sideline. The other team's just like, forget it. Everyone's drinking Gatorade. They got their feet up on the chair. It's like, we got this one.
I'm with you on Cal. It's 8.5 points.
I'm actually going to side with UCLA. Cal's just going 56 points a game on the road this season. They're being outscored by almost 17 points a game.
They haven't won a game or covered on the road all season. But Paulie Pavilion is hardly the fortress that it was.
How about UCLA as well?
All right, anyways, we got about 10 minutes left. I totally missed this one. We got the Packers against the 49ers. We'll spend our whole last 10 minutes on this game. These teams played earlier this season, not that long ago, and it was a epic beatdown. It was like, I mean, they never even got close. I went on and did my halftime show, and I was like, yeah, I've seen Aaron Rodgers thrown around like this before, and he rallies in the second half or whatever. Didn't happen. Packers have two choices here offensively. One is they have three choices. One is to somehow develop a running game that's going to work against this Niners defense, which they did not have in the last game, and I didn't see them pick up Derrick Henry from the Titans or anything. Number two, get Aaron Rodgers moving fast and really fast, and maybe have the blockers on his side. So like if he's going to roll right, to have the blockers set up right and kind of let somebody go on the left, and hopefully he can get rid of that ball before Bosa runs him down or he gets run down on the other side. That's the other thing. Or quick short passes, which I don't know if they have the game for that either. We saw them do it last week with Jimmy Graham finally getting involved because we talked about it on the show. So they watched the show. He's like, it's probably not a bad idea. Kind of like how I've been demanding that the Blazers trade some veterans, and they traded Bazemore. And I even said in my video, I said, I know I've been saying this the whole time. Obviously, they're not watching my videos. Next day, Bazemore was traded. And I finally said that because I've been saying it all season that the Blazers aren't going anywhere. So it's like it's time to get rid of some of this older, expensive talent. Start thinking about building for the future because with the team they have, they're not going anywhere. But anyways, Steve, what do you think here? Do you think Aaron Rodgers gets his revenge, or do you think the Niners just do it again?
Yeah, I think the Niners do it again, and I would never discount Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, he's an assassin when he's on. But, I mean, San Francisco's defensive line has just been lights out, man. Pressure against the run and the pass rush. And, they got Devontae Adams, who obviously is his top receiver. But San Francisco's defense, I think, is really the real deal here. And the fact that with the three-headed monster on offense for him, Garoppolo is an efficient quarterback. He's not Hall of Fame worthy at this point. But you know what? When he's on, he's a pretty accurate quarterback, I think. The fact that San Francisco's home, all those intangibles, I love the Niners here. I can't go against them, and I'm going to take them in the points. 7.5 last I saw. So I think the Niners beat down the Pack today.
We got 200-something people watching. We have 60 thumbs up. So if you guys could just take a quick second, hit the thumbs up. If you're watching on a phone, if you shrink the comments, you just shrink the comments, you hit the thumbs up, and then you can live chat, hit the live chat button. It comes right back up. It's greatly appreciated. Costs you absolutely nothing. Rod, what do you think about this one? Packers, 49ers.
Blowout. Well, I don't know why anybody... What was this garbage about? Oh, the first Super Bowl, it was Green Bay versus the Titans. So this Super Bowl, it's all rigged, so it'll be Green Bay versus the Titans.
No, versus the Chiefs. Packers.
Chiefs.
Yeah, it's all rigged, right? No. 49. There's no way.
It doesn't even make sense, that argument, because it's the 100th year of the NFL. It's not the 100th Super Bowl. It's like, what does that have to do with anything?
Oh, yeah.
I think if it's like the 100th, I don't know what the teams were, but it was like, I'm going to guess the Cardinals were one of them. There was always a Cardinals. And then it's like,
Chicago Cardinals.
It's like in the Rams, right? It's like, I think those are the teams that have been around forever.
But if that's what you're basing your bet off
it's pre-Chicago Bears.
That's a bad idea.
It was the Chicago Cardinals, if I remember correctly.
And Red Grange is going to be the MVP. It's like
The Galloping Ghost.
I don't even understand. That's the one theory that I don't even understand.
No.
I don't even get it.
It's like blew up, and everywhere I look, I was like,
it's like
really?
if there's a conspiracy theory, it's like, yeah, let's take the two crappiest TV markets and throw them in the Super Bowl. It's like, that's really good for business.
Yeah, right.
See what happens.
At least we'll sell some Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes jerseys. It's like, That ain't gonna get it done. It's like, believe me, because next year's rate card for the Super Bowl will be based on this year's rating. So they care. It's like more than likely San Francisco, a top 5 TV market, and then the other one. I mean, it's like they're in trouble. So it's. How about you, Chris? What do you think here?
Yeah, I'm not going to be so quick to write off the Packers. It's that old adage, an elephant never forgets. And I think that, they've had this game circled on the calendar if they get to this point. And I just think Green Bay has enough to keep it at least within the number. I think I don't know if I fully trust Jimmy Garoppolo in these bigger style games. He passed the first test against Minnesota, but it's going to be a different animal. So I'll take Green Bay plus the 7.5.
Their defense is a different animal.
Yeah, but I still think Green Bay can hang around. Not a team I like writing off in the playoffs.
Rod, what did you pick in this game? 49ers?
49ers. Give me the 49ers by like minus 9.5. I think minus 9.5, minus 13.5, all plus money.
I think we're going to see a lot closer game than we saw the first time. And I think that's really not much of a reach because the first game was like not even a game. It wasn't even like a second half comeback or anything like that. I think it was a reach. I don't know.
It could be close, and then the 49ers score a touchdown late and put them right out of reach.
How about this Kyle Shanahan? I don't buy him into this crap.
Yeah,
or is it just the flavor of the month, like Doug Peterson was 2 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that. The guy's had a good year coaching. I mean,
I always think that it's interesting when you look at a team that like the 49ers, and you get a new coach in there, right? And you kind of say to yourself, wow, man, this guy's really done a nice job. And then you also say to yourself at the same time, I think this is what ESPN says, right? And I don't watch a ton of ESPN except for when they're covering games. So I don't exactly know what they say. But I'm going to guess that they haven't said, because back when I used to watch it, they never said this. And back when Jim Harbaugh was the coach of the 49ers and got him to the Super Bowl, they didn't say this about him then either. But here's a team that's been drafted number 1 for a long time. And they have a lot. That defensive line, it's all number 1 picks. I mean, they got, not is it just number 1 picks, it's top 5 picks. Solomon, whatever his name is, right? He was number 3. Boza was number 2. DeForest Buckner was 3 or 2, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about not just first round picks across the board there. I mean, we're talking about top 3 first round picks, there. So it's a nice situation to go into. And I thought that Jim Harbaugh, when he came to San Francisco, he replaced the defensive coach in Mike Singletary, who had been drafting first for a very long time. And once again, then that's how you end up, Jim Harbaugh picks that wide receiver from Illinois, right? I mean, it's like, this is because he's smarter than all of us. And, meanwhile, he has Patrick Willis, and he's got, right? It's like
some good players, that's for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, according to the way they vote for the Hall of Fame, he's not going to get in either. It's like, how is Patrick Willis not going to get into the Hall of Fame? They'll figure out a way because, the way the voting is gone, it's like maybe he bet on something. Maybe he's at the track or something. Chris is not going back to the Hall of Fame, that's for sure.
Yeah, my question to Chris would have been, did you play in the NHL, Chris? Okay. No, you didn't? Okay. Well, you can come in then. Okay.
As long as, you can basically kill someone. It's like, you could basically kill someone, but if you bet $5 on your own team to win, forget it.
I don't make the rules, but
so anyone that has an incentive bonus in their contract shouldn't get in either, based on wins. It's the same thing.
It's crazy. I got it. It's
the same thing. What's the difference? You're betting. You're betting like it, and in some cases $500,000, $1 million that your team is going to win. It's a futures bet. What's the difference between that and a futures bet? What's the difference? I mean, a coach that has it built into his contract. If a team wins this amount of games, he gets this bonus. If they win this much. If they win the championship, how about players that they get a bonus for making it to the Super Bowl or for winning playoff games and all that stuff? Same shit, man. Same shit. I don't know, man. All right, let's recap. We didn't really talk about much here. Chris, you're first, as always. You're a leadoff hitter. You're our leadoff guy. You're
our table setter.
Yeah, you're the table setter.
I was gonna say I'm the George Springer, but that might not be the best name to use right now.
Who do you like today?
For the NFL, I like the Packers plus 7.5, and I like the Titans plus 7 against KC. For hockey, I like Pittsburgh minus 125 against Boston. Carolina plus 160. The New York Islanders plus 160 against Carolina. Chicago minus 116 against the Winnipeg Jets. I like Columbus plus 105 against the Rangers. College hoops games that we covered on the show, I like South Dakota State plus 2 against South Dakota. North Dakota plus 7 against North Dakota State. Canisius plus 1.5 against Rider. I like UCLA minus 8.5 against Cal. The 3 other games I'm looking at, I like Drake and a Pick'em against Southern Illinois. I think we're getting a better team there. Loyola minus 4.5 against Illinois State. I just think Loyola is playing some of the best basketball in the conference right now. And I like Boston College plus 5 against Wake Forest. I see it being a 3-point game.
Rod?
I'll touch on the one game that we didn't touch on. Siena at Niagara. Give me Niagara here plus 3. Siena's 0-7 ATS the last 7. Siena just stinks on the road, so I don't understand. Wrong favorite here. Give me Niagara plus 3. I think they win this game outright. Continue with college basketball. I like UCLA minus the 8.5 here. I think they beat this Cal team up. I think they win by 10. Ryder at Canisius. Give me Canisius. Plus the 1.5 and money line. I like the Jackrabbits. I like the Gophers at Rutgers. Give me the Gophers plus 6 here today. NHL, I like Boston money line, Islanders money line, Jets money line, Rangers money line. I'm gonna go with this little 3-team birdcage. Give me Niagara money line, Canisius money line, Rangers money line. And in the NFL, I like the 49ers to win. Give me 49ers minus 7.5, minus 9.5, minus 13.5. And I also like the Chiefs to win by 10. Chiefs minus 9.5.
Steve?
Yeah, I'll start with the NFL. I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans and the points, so they're plus 7. I think it'll be a close game. I kind of think the Chiefs will win, but I'll take the points and the Titans. I'm all in on the 49ers being home here, laying 7.5, so I'm going to take the Niners. I just think they're a team of destiny getting to the Super Bowl this year. As far as college goes, I like Fordham. Getting 8.5 over Davidson. I like Minnesota too on the road coming to Rutgers. Rutgers is a favorite by 6. I'll take Minnesota. I like Rod's pick of Niagara. Siena, terrible on the road, so I'm going to go with the Purple Eagles of Niagara. I like Canisius. I don't know if I pronounced that wrong, and I'm going to get a bevy of emails, but I'll take Canisius against Ryder, 1.5. I'm going to switch to the Jackrabbits. You all three, you took the Jackrabbits. I'm going to switch to the Jackrabbits against South Dakota. What else? Cal. I'm going to take a flyer on Cal, like Mitch. I don't think Cronin's a real good coach, and UCLA is not UCLA anymore. 8.5, so I'll take Cal. I do like Wake at home against BC. Wake 4.5 points. I'm going to go with the Demon Deacons. And in the NBA, I like the Heat. Laying 1 point at the Spurs. And that's really all I got. I really don't even have a comfortable parlay to throw out there today, to be honest with you.
Thank you. I like Fordham. I gave out the video picks on every single game today, so I got nothing else really to say here. But I'm so done with Davidson, man. I'm just done. Anyways, let me get everyone back here. And I don't know. It's like these guys couldn't cover. Like, I mean, I don't even know what the hell is going on over there. But I smell a coaching change. Anyways, thanks, guys, for joining us. I'll be back at halftime of the first game and, of course, halftime of the second game. Tomorrow is a really kind of cool day of sports. It's King Day, so we got tons of NBA tomorrow. I'll be back in the morning and with that as well. Of course, I've been doing the spread knowledge picks before I do this show. I'm trying to move that show up a little bit. I'm trying to find my groove with that, whether I should just do a regular straight YouTube video or I stick with the live show. Maybe we'll just ask you guys or we'll see how many people are watching the shows. I know yesterday when I did a bunch of shows throughout the day, kind of the views as I went out the day were less and less. So I don't think that that's a great idea. I think there's other ways to do it. Maybe a live update show where I just do like, hey, I got a live update, type thing. I don't know. But I'll probably do some spread knowledge videos at some point. I have some ideas for that. And if you haven't got the software, by all means, get it. It's awesome. Anyways, use the discount code Mitch. You get 10% off after a 7-day free trial. Anyways, thanks, guys, for joining me. Steve and I are going to have new shows going on this week. We're going to do NFL free agency and NFL draft. We're going to look at first players, position by position, both free agency, then the draft. Probably do a position each show. Carry us through maybe 8 weeks or something. And then we'll get to the draft, probably just in time for the NFL draft to really start nailing that down. We'll get into the team needs. We'll start calling some general managers just out of the blue and see if they'll pick up the phone on the show. I've done that before, so of course we called Manfred's office on the show before, and he was supposed to get back and he just never did. Didn't, his loss. Anyways, have a nice day, everyone. I'll see you guys in a few hours. Halftime.
Hey, everybody.
All right, have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching.